What is up, guys? We are 4 days out from my natural bodybuilding show. 4 more days to go and it is done. I get to crash out on food. I'm having my black coffee, my cup of black coffee before the gym. I'm going in today to hit chest. I guess plan for the day is really just 2 movements because, you know, with me exclusively training one muscle group at a time for this last little bit of peak week, I would never actually recommend to do that. I would never recommend training one muscle group on one specific day. There would be no chest day, back day, shoulder day, stuff like that. You're going to benefit more by doing a little bit less and incorporating more muscle groups, and, because the frequency at which you're able to hit those muscles, is going to be higher than just once a week or once every 5 days, or by the time you get done with them or whatever. So I wouldn't typically do that. I wouldn't suggest that, or program that for a client or suggest it to anyone. But we're having to do it for now just to limit the stress on my body, get a little bit of glycogen flow into that specific muscle group. I will have an upper day later this week on Thursday, which will be in 2 days. So 2 days out, I'll hit a little light upper day, kind of just shuttle all those carbs and water to my muscles so I'll fill out for the show. It's kind of just particular and off schedule this week, but I just kind of wanted to let you guys know what was going on. But yeah, we're running our black coffee, heading in for the gym. I'm going to show you my workout, my routine, which is actually no different than the chest routine that I would typically do. I would just also pair other muscle groups with it. So for this last split, I've been running chest and arms together, and I would do this starting chest workout. So feel free to copy it, to incorporate it in your split. Definitely a solid routine. You can maximize stimulus for chest with just 2 good movements, training a couple hard sets. I'm not going to spend, this workout's not going to take more than 30 minutes, but I'll have a pretty solid pose down. Chest will be pumped. We'll see what we're looking like. Very similar to a stage pump up is how this will look after the workout, because I do intend on pumping my chest up a little bit, maybe a little bit on the shoulders. You don't want to pump up muscle groups where you'll lose definition by having a lot of blood flow in that area. That's why I stopped hitting legs, to reduce inflammation Saturday. Don't just start skipping legs and think, oh, I want more definition in my legs. That's not what I'm saying. But I just mean in terms of, very temporary, it will cause inflammation. So I would rather, lay off those so I get the feathering, the striations, they look cool, everything like that. Your chest doesn't really lose that much definition by being pumped up. So that's one of those muscle groups where, you can pump that up before the show and it looks totally fine. Shoulders, kind of the same concept. But I wouldn't want to pump my arms up. It would kind of wash out a little bit. Same with my back. I would never want a mid-back pump because it would lose my definition down the center and stuff like that. But yeah, pretty good. It'll be a pretty good one. I'm feeling fine right now, but typically, by the end of today, probably terrible. Food got lowered a little bit for the day just to kind of start that depletion phase where I'm already running very low calories, comparative to what I usually eat. But we're dropping it even more because the carb up starts tomorrow. So I will get carbs tomorrow for a shoulders and arm day for you guys. So tune in for that one. It'll be crazy. But at least for now, food's dropping one last final time. This is it. I will be peak shredded tomorrow morning. That's going to be, I'll give you guys a little bit of an update, a little check-in tomorrow morning. But that'll be peak shreds until we start our carb loading. Cardio and steps are going to drop off completely. My cardio is already reduced a lot, but my steps will drop from 20,000 to probably just 10,000, for that day. Just want to walk around to keep water retention down and stuff like that, but I'm not actually trying to burn calories at that point because it's too late. You're not burning through 2 pounds of fat in 3 days. It's just, that's not happening, unless you just went on an absolute fast, and even then, I don't know if you could do it. But I'll see you boys at the gym. Heading in for some chest. I'll probably start with this chest press. I've already done 1 warm-up set. I'll typically do 2 warm-up sets for a movement before my working weight. If it is the first movement for that muscle. If I go and I'm hitting another chest movement, I've already got my chest warm. 1 warm-up set is probably fine, just to kind of fill out the weight and kind of gauge where I need to be to fail within a specific rep range. But for this second warm-up set, you don't have to spend a ton of effort on your warm-up sets. If you're doing 5 or 6 reps, that's totally fine. And I take about 30 to 45 seconds between my warm-up sets. You don't want to expend all your energy because I want to, direct the most amount of effort towards my working sets. But we'll hit this for just a couple, really get my chest warmed up, shoulders warm, make sure we're not going to get hurt. And then, jump straight to my working weight in about 30-45 seconds. First working set going down, I'm gonna try to fail between the 6 and 10 rep range. That's where typically I fail for all my movements. You know, I'm being a little more cautious obviously because we're 4 days from the bodybuilding show, but you know, typically though, I will high intensity, very high intensity. If I can fail in that range, if I start hitting 10, you know, for my working weight, I'll go up. I mean, at that point for the next session, I'll go up. And also if I undershoot it a little bit and it takes me getting to 12 or 13 to actually hit failure, I just go ahead and do that, hit failure, and then the next session or the next set, bump it up then. Always prioritize training at least relatively close to failure over a specific rep range. It matters a whole lot less than actually having a good set. So first working set here, if we get 10, I'll be happy. So you end up having to go to 12 to actually hit failure, but I'm not gonna stop the set, you know, early and limit myself from maximizing stimulus. Always prioritize failure. Second working set, I went up because, you know, we got 12 reps on the last set, so I know to fail between my range that I like to stay within, we're gotta go up and weight. So throwing 160 around again, just being easy, not trying to kill it too much. I'm just gonna do 2 working sets here, and I've taken 3 minutes between working sets. I typically take anywhere from 2.5 to 3 minutes between all my working sets so that I can train to muscular failure, not cardiovascular failure, and really maximize output. So if we get this one for anything over 6, I'm good with it. Moving on to flies. First warm-up set of my flies. You know, my chest is already warm from that chest press, so I'll probably just run 1 warm-up set. You could go to your working weight if you're confident in, you know, your shoulders feeling fine, everything like that. But I typically, you know, at least give myself 1 warm-up set on any movement, no matter if it is targeting the same muscle. So we'll knock this out for a lighter set of 5 or 6 reps. I'll take me a little bit of a break, maybe 45 seconds, and then I'll jump straight to my working weight. I'm good with that. First working set of flies, again, if I get anything between 6 and 10, totally good with it. Last working set going down, and that is it for chest. You're probably thinking, Lofton, that's not enough. There's no point in stimulating a muscle more than it can recover in 48 hours. Hypertrophy really only takes place for around that time period. So there's no point in me running 6 exercises of 4 sets for chest. All I'm gonna do is hinder myself for my next workout. I can be training chest again in 48 to 72 hours and just maximize stimulus again and stay in that state of growth from, 3 days to 3 days to 3 days. And I don't have to, take that break where my chest is not growing. So this is it. And then we're gonna go check the pump, see what we're looking like. get you a little sneak peek at what it'll look like on stage, except I'm not carved up, but it'll be at least somewhat similar. But let's hit this last set. Let me adjust this up. That last working weight was fine. I think I got 9, but I'm just really prioritizing the contraction. I'm not gritting my teeth, you know, squeezing. That's it. All right, guys, let's see what we're looking like in the chest section. Looking pretty lean already, but this is again, this is final depletion day, the leanest that I've been up until this point. You know, morning physique tomorrow will be absolutely crazy, but let's see what the chest is looking like. Looking pretty solid if you ask me. The men's physique routine. But this is the weakest that you will ever see me currently right now. This is the weakest I've been in years, the weakest I'll probably ever be again ever. I'm gonna seriously be pushing some numbers for you guys here in, you know, the next couple months. I want a PR on everything. I want to max out every machine. I have ever since I switched to a little bit lower volume training approach, my strength has doubled, and so I'm super excited about that. May even experiment with some free weight stuff, but for now, that's what the chest is looking like. We've got our striations holding still, midsection is still tight for you know, for the show. I'm pretty happy with the look, and I've drank 1.5 gallons of water already today as well, because we are kind of water loading for that taper off phase for the show. I'll dry out and reduce water gradually from Thursday up until Saturday morning. But for now, we're running 2 gallons of water. So for, you know, under the circumstances with the midsection looking this tight, I'm totally happy with it. Chest is fully pumped. I'm fine with that. It'll be similar to looking like this on stage. You know, I'm gonna bring some bands, really get pumped up, and, you know, but I'll meet you guys tomorrow for a arms and shoulders day. Gonna run you through my shoulder and arm routine, which in fact, they are looking pretty solid. Run you through the shoulders and arm routine that I've really used to grow my arms. My arms expanded insanely whenever I really started focusing on isolation, but I'll show you, you know, you guys that tomorrow. But hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.